Actually, you know what, Mike? I got into both Harvard and MIT, but Boston University gave me a full 4 year fencing scholarship. So I figured rather than put my parents through the hardship of Harvard or MIT, I just accepted the 4 year fencing scholarship, and
Were
that's.
you fencing for years, or did you figure you just take a stab at it?
It's interesting, Mike. I first picked up my sword uh, my junior year of high school, and I said, "Let me take a stab at this." It's exactly right,
Wow.
and I was a natural and got a 4 year full ride to Boston University.
It's amazing that you're so nifty with a sword, but you won't use a razor to shave.
Yeah, yeah, that is you're right. The irony there is quite apparent. I am I'm much more comfortable with a sword than I am with a razor.
So, do you think that if somebody's, you're very smart, but you're a good person, do you think if somebody's smart and evil, they should go to the Poison Ivy League? Do you think there should be a Poison Ivy League for people who are evil geniuses? Your thoughts?
I think that that's a wonderful idea. I think that if you're evil, but a genius, you should go to the Poison Ivy League, and you should not be allowed to go to Aruba. You should have to go to the islands of Yemen.
Yemen. Now, Ray, you said that you got into Harvard. You said you got into MIT, prestigious colleges. When you see somebody wearing a sweatshirt that says Harvard, do you walk up to them and go, "That was my safety school. That was my safety school"?
I have done that I've done that when they're wearing sweatshirts that say MIT, Harvard, Stanford, UPenn, and Brown. I those are the ones I prefer mocking the most. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And do you really go after them? You go, "I'm Aruba Ray. I'm Aruba Ray."
I've
And
been known to
do you throw your merch at them? Like, how's it
I've
end?
I've followed people down the street chanting insults to people and telling them what a waste of that money was for that ridiculous education, particularly if they were a philosophy major at Dartmouth. And
Ray, do you yell when you're yelling these insults? Are they high level insults? Because you're insulting an Ivy League. You're a protagonist. You're a protagonist. Are you yelling these high level insults?
I try to keep my insults as highbrow and high level as possible.
Right.
Yeah, as much as I can.
Breaking news: Dawn Wells from Gilligan's Island died at 82. As an island guy, Ray, did this really hit you where it hurts?
It did. I felt sad to hear it. I mean, she was 82. It's a pretty long life, but by all accounts, she was a lovely person, and she brought us a lot of happiness through her acting. And it did, and it struck a chord because someone told me right after I left the beach today, when I was coming back here to be on time for your podcast. Someone said to me, "Hey, one of the fellows on the beach," he said, "Hey, did you hear Mary Ann from Gilligan's Island passed?" And I was like, "Oh, that did it resonated with me a bit."
Does it resonate because your father was raised on a farm and Mary Ann and Gilligan's Island is a farm girl? Is that connection real for you?
I think between my father's farm life and my island life, I think that those worlds come together very much so.
Do you consider yourself a modern day Gilligan, Ray? Are you lost at sea and this island is your home and you're making the best of it? Do you think of yourself as a Gilligan?
I think of myself as a modern, one part modern day professor and one part modern day Thurston Howell, in the sense that I live my life like I'm a multimillionaire,
right.
But I'm not married and never have been married, and I do fancy myself to be quite wise, much like the professor. And I can make lots of mechanical objects out of coconuts.
That's something you can. You have that because your father is an engineer.
My dad's an engineer. That's true.
Is Ginger the last remaining member of Gilligan's Island? I think Ginger is the last remaining member.
I think so. Well, Russell Johnson played the professor. He passed. He was in a great episode of The Twilight Zone, by the way, where he goes back in time to try to save Lincoln. Jim Backus played Thurston Howell III. He passed away. Lovey was played by Natalie Schaefer. I know she passed away. I believe Alan Hale Jr. was the skipper. He passed away. And Bob Denver was golden. I can't believe I know the names of all the actors.
You actually do know all of the names, and I would expect nothing less from Aruba Ray.
Pretty good.
Because they're stuck on an island. You're stuck on an island. The parallels are insane. It's really probably blowing the fans' minds right now who even know what Gilligan Island. Everybody's on Snapchat now. For our younger fans, they're like, what's Gilligan's Island? They don't even know what. And the Twilight.
A very, very, very entertaining television program. I know some of you might not know what TV is, but you can look up episodes probably on YouTube. Gilligan's Island. And look, island people know other island people.
That's what I thought. You have to get tested to get on this island.
Yeah.
Right. Is that a bit extreme, do you think? Do you think it's warranted? Is it Nazi Germany? I mean, what's going on, right? Why do I have to get tested to be on the island?
Well, you either take a test in your home state or you come to Aruba, and at the airport, a small iguana will climb up your nose, do a twirl with its tail, and then get you your test results within 24 hours.
Is that island testing, Ray? A small iguana instead of a healthcare worker?
Some of the iguanas are healthcare workers. This island has very talented animal life.
Is getting the results and posting them on Instagram or TikTok, is that the new sex tape? Do you leak your results, Ray, so that you can get followers and fans? Like, I'm negative. Look at how negative I am.
Yeah. Look at me. I'm safe. I'm negative. And also, there's an element of penetration when they put that Q-tip up your nose.
Yes.
I mean, you are being penetrated.
Right.
Yep.
I want to talk about the cops in Aruba right now. Do the cops in Aruba? First of all, I've only seen one, and that was yesterday. Before that, didn't know the police were even here, have a presence. In Aruba, because it's a vacation island, when they pull you over, do they come to your window and go, "Are you drunk?" And if you say no, do they go, "How come you're not?" Because it's a party island, Ray.
It's a little bit. It's a bit of a party island, not a crazy party island like other islands. But I don't believe the police do that, Michael.
Okay.
No.
You've dated women from Aruba. Am I wrong on that? Did I do my research?
Yep. I had an Aruban girlfriend for about a year.
If you married an Aruban girl, would you consider being on a 90-day fiance? Where you had to come here the other way, she had to come back. She met your mom. Your mom, let's say she detests the piano, and she's more of in the string section. And your mom's like, "I can't deal with it. I won't."
Well, it's very likely if we did 90-day fiance and I brought my Aruban girlfriend home to meet my mother, that my mom, as being a wonderful mother she is, she would learn how to play the steel drum to make her feel more at home.
Your dad, if you brought a woman home, would consider going to the bathroom indoors to make an impression,
Out of respect, my father would use indoor plumbing to make my Aruban girlfriend feel more at home. Yes.
Worst case scenario, you marry a girl from Aruba, okay? You have children, you get a divorce, she comes back to Aruba. Now the children have to choose. Do you think you're at a disadvantage being from Manhattan? The children are like, "Oh, I can be in Aruba or I can be in New York. Where do I Any sane person's going to be in Aruba, right? You're going to lose your children because of geography. Did you ever think of it?
I think if I had a son, he'd want to stay in Aruba. I think he'd want to stay in Aruba. If I had a daughter, I think she might want to go to the big city to see what it's all about. Yeah, so that would be that way. You know what, Mike? Now that you
would lose that fight, Ray. 9 times out of 10, kids want to come to Aruba. They don't want to stay in the freezing cold weather. Shannon is an example.
Yeah, is that right? Well, now that you're talking this through, and now that you mention it, you're right. If I'm going to have children, I guess it should just be in the United States, I guess.
Yes. Make her get citizenship. Have her give up her citizenship in Aruba, lock her into a marriage in New York. If you have to split custody, then she will be in another part of America, which is not Aruba. It's not as tempting.
I will say my ex-girlfriend in Aruba we broke up, 3.5, 4 years ago. She did very much want to live in New York City.
Oh, she did.
Oh, yes, she did.
She wanted to go the 90-day the other way. The other way.
She wanted to live in Manhattan.
Wow.
I felt like splitting my time is the way to go. And that was certainly a sticking point. And she wanted to move her home base to New York City.
Do you think that, because you live in Manhattan?
Yeah.
okay, which is pretty prestigious in its own right. That if you married somebody else from New York and you got a divorce, would you exile them to one of the boroughs? Go to Queens. I don't even want to talk to you right now. Go to Queens. Go to Brooklyn.
I would exile them not to another borough. I would exile them to another state. I would banish them to Delaware.
Well, I don't think you have that kind of jurisdiction, Ray. As a New Yorker, I think you have access to Manhattan, and then if you were going to exile them, you'd exile them to one of the boroughs. I don't think you have Delaware jurisdiction. Come on, be reasonable.
You might be right about
scenario, Ray, but you're being kind of like cartoonish about the whole thing. This is a news-based podcast.
Well, you're right. You know what, then? If we're fact-based, I guess then as Aruba Ray, I could banish them to Curacao. That I could do.
That's if you're in Aruba.
In Aruba.
But if you're in New York and you...
I would banish them to Staten Island.
Thank you. Thank you. And Shannon, how does that make you feel? Ray just kind of used your location as a sort of a prison. You come onto the screen and really let us know your feelings on that one.
I don't love it, but I get it. This is not a great place to be. I understand.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'll take it one step further. Part of my plan is I'm going to banish that ex to Staten Island and then make her feel extra uncomfortable when she sees me showing up in Staten Island to hang out with you, Shannon.
Ray, I'd like to get, I sense what you're doing there. It's not lost on me. But do you think that's a new thing that we should break up with anybody we break up with? You can banish to Staten Island? And then all the exes are on Staten Island?
Yeah. And
everybody's ex on Staten Island. Wouldn't that make it? You don't run into them then. They're on an island. You don't run into them.
That's a fabulous new reality show. The exes of Staten Island. Let all the exes meet up with each other.
That's a great, we should pitch it.